I'm Mark.
And I'm Cam. And this is RevTalks. In our previous episode, we went inside the CRO's mind with Mark Niemiec. Today, we'll get Mark's perspective on buyers and how their revenue teams are winning in their conversations. So Mark, you've been in sales for a while. How are you preparing your teams for the modern buying experience?
The truth of sales has never changed. The fundamentals that we've always used to be successful in sales are more relevant now than ever before. And so one of the things I think about in terms of helping our sellers prepare for the future is to actually care about their customers, to go back to the real reason we do this, and that's to help our customers be successful. With that mindset, we can approach our jobs with a little bit more rigor and discipline around the things that are really important. And those are understanding your customers' problems, the outcomes they want to deliver, and how you're going to make that happen. And so that happens through really, really deep discovery, also with a real significant forethought on what the future looks like. And how is the customer to consume the technology that we're providing? How will they make sure the users adopt it so that they're ultimately successful with the investment that they're making? And so caring about your customer, doing really deep discovery, and having a plan for how they're going to consume it and be successful are the things our sellers need to be doing as they go into the future.
Yeah, so tell me more about that. What are some of the really effective ways you see sellers working with buyers to get deals done?
Yeah, part of the success that our sellers are seeing is really strong business cases. And so when I think about how do we help customers solve their most important challenges, things that are board relevant and CEO relevant, those are what I call 1% business problems. Business problems that impact revenue by 1% or more. And when we do those business cases, when we have opportunities to help our customers solve issues that rise to that level of import, we see a whole lot of interest from CEOs, from CFOs, from heads of sales. I have our teams looking for opportunities to help our customers solve problems that are going to be board relevant. And usually those things are 1+% of revenue. And so that's where our teams are focused right now.
Yeah, so it's really about thinking bigger when you're looking at the deal to get everyone's attention.
For sure.
So we're talking about how an individual seller will work with the buyer to get the deal done. But what about once they close the deal? I mean, the handoff process is notoriously bad. How can sellers make sure that their customers are successful after the deal closes?
Yeah. So I've had some really great on-the-job training with this topic. And one of the things that I've found to be a concern of our customers is their ultimate success or how they're going to adopt the technology. And so a little bit through happenstance, I was part of a couple deal cycles where we had our professional services team with us through the sales process. And when we saw the success of that engagement model, it proved to me that that is the only way that we should be going forward and helping our customers be successful. And so the way it looks is, our services team would always be involved in the deal and our sales team would always be involved. So typically there's a handoff. Services might come in after the sale has been completed. And then when it's time for the renewal, the sales team might come in. In the world that I like to operate in, nobody's ever at 100%, nobody's ever at 0%. And so maybe our sales team is at 90% in the beginning of a cycle, and the services team is at 10%, but they're still there. And then as we go into deployment, it becomes 90% services, but 10% sales. And sales is never not part of those conversations. They're always there at some level. And that helps the customer know that the people that were part of the initial part of the conception of the program are there throughout the life cycle of it. The salespeople don't necessarily need to be there every day for the deployment because they're not expert there. And the services people don't need to be there every day for the sales process, but they are part of it as well. And so in my world of ideal selling, there is no handoff. Yeah. Everybody's involved at different levels of intensity throughout the customer life cycle.
Yeah, I love that. All right, final question. If you had unlimited resources, what problems or opportunities would you tackle?
I would help customers consume the technology they're buying. And so much of what our teams focus on is proving that we have the right technology. Oftentimes the challenge comes in, how is the customer to consume it? They have their own challenges, they have their own tech stack, they have their own culture and process and people. And in order to make any of these technologies work, it has to be implemented, it has to be used, it has to be adopted, it has to deliver results. So if I could solve any problem, it would be making sure we have the services in place to make sure customers are able to get the value out of the products that we sell, make sure they have the time and interest and investment in change management, and making sure ultimately they're successful.
I love that. Really takes it back to putting the customer at the forefront and helping solve their problems.
For sure.
Awesome, thanks Mark, and thanks to all of you for watching. In the next episode of RevTalks, I'll be asking Mark about how go-to-market teams can shift their end-of-quarter mindset.